Okay, hello class. Welcome to CRTR 1404. This is Machine Shorthand 1. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to explain the lesson. I'm your instructor, Lucretia Thomas, and my syllabus will have all the information that you need. I will be recording it, so make sure that you listen to my recording of my syllabus. All the information you need for the class will be in that recording. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is your lecture, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain lessons, why they're written certain ways, and we'll go over your book, starting with lesson 1. Okay, so if you all want to get your books out, we're going to start on page 1, lesson 1. Okay, and try not to skip over anything. Very, very important that before you start any homework assignment, that you read your book. Make sure you read your textbook, read everything in it, try not to skip anything, then listen to my lecture, and then do your homework assignment. Once you're done with your homework assignment, then do your lab, and that should help you out as well. Every day it's the same thing, okay? So you try and do your lecture first, so you read your book first. Then your lecture, that's going to be with me where I explain the lesson. Then your homework assignment, there's going to be a video that goes with it explaining how to complete everything. Very, very important that you all listen to the video, watch it so you know how to complete homework assignments. And then you're going to have a lab where you just practice with your machine and take down everything that we're saying. You also will listen to, when I start dictating on my lectures, that means I'm starting to dictate. You'll have your machines and you'll practice along with me, okay? Remember, labs and lectures are just taken down on your machine. They're not turned in. The only thing you turn in to us is your homework assignment, okay? So every night you're going to have a homework assignment, and so you're going to turn it into us daily, your homework assignments, okay? So I will cover that more in the syllabus. So I want to cover lesson 1. It's getting ready. And it talks about machine shorthand. Don't skip anything. Just read everything to yourselves. And it talks about the keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to skim through this. Remember, it's 23 keys in total. You have 20. Here's an amplified version of the keyboard. Remember, if you rented your machine from us, your machines don't have any letters on the keyboard. Very, very important that you all memorize the keyboard before you start the program. If I met with you prior, I did let you all know how important it is to memorize the letters in advance. It just makes it so much easier because we go very quickly through this program, Machine Shorthand 1, Machine Shorthand 2. You only get 2 semesters of learning how to write on the machine, and it's just your basics. It's everything. So very, very important that you all memorize that keyboard. And it's the same keyboard on all of the stenographic machines, okay? It's a good idea to memorize it and not to tape the keyboard anywhere on your machine. I have met with students before and they taped the letters onto the machine, you know, and that's not a good idea. You really need to just memorize it and just know it by finger, just by listening to it and just writing. You've got to memorize S, T, P, H, S, K, W, R, F, P, L, T, and then you have R, B, G, S over here, and then the vowels are with the thumbs. A, O, E, U, E, U makes an I. Very, very important that you all realize that, okay? Just a minute, let me just make this a little bit bigger, okay? Okay, and so that way you can see my keyboard over here a little better. So read all about machine shorthand. Anytime I say a stroke, it's any single key or key combination depressed on the steno machine at one time, and it's referred to as a stroke. So anytime if I have class and I'm saying, what is your stroke? It's just a letter that you're stroking on your machine. It's a stroke. What is your stroke, okay? Outline, the letter combinations used to define a word are defined as outlines. So anytime you wrote something on your machine, I'll ask, what is your stroke or outline? And that's just like, what letters did you stroke? What letters are represented on your screen? Okay, so that's what we refer to. Now, I am going pretty quickly through this. You all take your time reading everything. Page 2, order of keys, the very top, the order of the letters follow, okay? So it's always S, T, K, P, W, H, R, A, O. So notice S, T, P, W, okay? S, T, K, P, W, H, R going up and down. And then you have the vowels, A, O. Then you have the asterisk. And then you have the E, U. And then you have F, R, P, B, L, G, T, S, D, Z. So just know that that's how the order of the keys are, okay? And so like I said, the stenotype keyboard never changes. We stroke words, if it's one syllable word, like cat, we stroke it one syllable. Cat equals K-A-T. The reason we do K is because there is no initial C. Over here, our K acts as a C, okay? Some of the machines, if you rented them from us, have optional wide keys, and that's over here, the DZ. So just to let you know, your hand position is going to be the right hand on the right side of the machine. If you need to press the DZ, all you do is kind of move your pinky over to the D, to the Z, okay? So that's really important that you all know that. Your home key positions, your left hand is on the left side of the machine, the right hand is on the right side. Remember, you don't have any fingers on the asterisk. Your vowels are pressed with your thumbs, okay? So you're just going to position them like this. If you need to hit the DZ, you just kind of reach your pinky over to the right, okay? And so just notice too, the wide asterisk key, that's this key, that's stroked with your right index finger. And it's a little bit wider than most of the keys, and that's because it's used so often. So very, very important that you all realize that, okay? So just read through everything. It talks about caring for your machine. Remember, very important, you all are responsible for these machines. They're in your care, custody, and control, so very, very important that you all watch them, that you not leave them in your cars unattended, that you don't put them in plain view, because we have had the machine stolen before and you're ultimately responsible. And so for the software and for the machine, it's about $2,000. So please make sure that you take care of your machines, that you don't have any water, cups of water near you, glasses of water when you're practicing, because sometimes it spills and it'll land on the machine and you're responsible for fixing that machine if anything does happen to it. So please watch them, guard them with your life. Don't drop them, because we know when they're dropped, because we give them to you in working order. So we expect to get them back in working order, and we have a technician that will work on them, and he usually will let us know whether or not water was spilled on the machine. So please, please, you all take care of the machines, okay? They are paperless. They're state of the art. They're the newest machines. They're very nice. They're easy to write with. So it's just a lighter press. Back when I went to school, they were manual machines, so you had to push extra hard. These, you just barely just kind of use your fingertips, and they just kind of are easier to stroke with, okay? Setting up the tripod, make sure you know what the tripod is. It's the bottom part of your machine. If you came in and got your machine from us here at the lab, we explained how to make sure that the tripod connects to the machine portion of it. So read everything on page 4. Okay, and remember too, you don't want to have your machine positioned so high. I know when I started school, the machine was supposed to be down here, down by your knees, and most of us had it way up here. Remember, you can adjust your machine by the tripod. You can make it higher, lower. So I actually had my machine right here, and I just like to put it not too high, just where your wrists are just riding like this, okay? You don't want to be way up here. You want to just be comfortably. I actually keep my machine down by my legs, and that way I'm not bouncing up and down like that. I'm just kind of writing with my fingertips. You want to make sure you write like that, because it's very important, because then you wear out your wrists, and you don't want to do that. You just want to write this way, not like that. And you want to make sure you keep your hands on the key position of the machine, okay? That way, if you get your hands up and then you come right back down, you might lose your spot and come back on a different spot of the machine. So very important that you just write with your fingertips and just like this, okay? Very, very important. Have it at a nice level, not too high. You don't want to be writing like way up here like a type. You just want to have it comfortably resting, okay? So make sure you read all about that. Page 5, inking the machine, that's not necessary because these are paperless machines. Those are for the paper machines, okay? Loading the paper, most of you don't have paper machines, so let's go on. And so page 6, writing habits, position at the machine. So there's a perfect picture of how your machine should be situated, where it should be placed. I actually like it even a little lower than that. So make sure that you all read on that. Remember, you don't want your arms flapping out when you're writing. You just want to keep everything just like this. Your arms straight, straight down to your sides, and just move your fingers, okay? Very, very important. And so we've got the hand position, so make sure you read everything. Don't skip. These are just basics that you should know. And then page 7, touch, okay? So touch. The stroke should be a quick, light tap. Okay, so it's just really quick and it's light. Just don't go, you know, all the way down. I mean, just quick, very lightly, you all. Try not to bang on your machines either. It's just a light tapping of the letters. And rather than pressing them into the paper, don't pound. It's not a good idea if you pound. It just slows you down. And it's not good for the machine either, okay? Also, it says in your book, do not move the entire hand, just the fingers. So don't go like that, just go like this. Very important. I just want to stress to you too that I have nails. Usually I don't like to have nails, but I went on vacation, so I put nails on. If you have nails, you all, it does interfere with the machine. I think I've only seen one student that graduated that could write with long nails. Other than that, it's really tough. So if you have nails, cut them because they do get in the way. Okay, I can tell you just some of your homework assignments, I have the nails, and it's just so different writing with them. It seems like they just get in the way. And remember, the steno-type machine is designed to be almost silent. Excessive hand motion and heavy stroking will make it begin to click with every stroke. So if you start hearing like a clicking sound, you're pressing too hard, just lighten up, okay? And read up on the nails too. Keep them short because they will hinder your speed. Very, very important. Speed, going on. And so it says speed, stenotype is a method whereby it is possible to take down verbatim dictation at the speed at which it is spoken. The student reporter's ultimate goal is to write 225 words per minute. However, the beginning student should not be obsessed with speed. So yes, our ultimate goal is to have speed in order to finish and get a good grade for the class, but you all, it's so basic just to get your fundamentals correctly, to get everything accurate. The speed will come, I promise, but the accuracy doesn't. So you want to just memorize that keyboard, STPH, SKWR, AOEU, FPLT, RBGS, very, very important, okay? And remember, speed will come with time. My labs will be a little fast, the lectures will be a little fast, but that's just so you all get a better head start, okay? If we baby you too much, if we say, well, we're gonna do this at 5 words a minute, no. We gotta keep it at a good pace just to make it easier for you throughout your transition in the program. So I can't stress how important that is, okay? But remember, just write slowly and correctly to establish the sound writing habits that will provide your foundation for later speed development. If you write too fast too soon, you often will see errors. Remember, we don't want you to have errors. We want your homework perfect. I do compare this a lot to what musicians do. And so the musician, if they practice, they get better at their music. And that's how court reporting is. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. But we want accuracy. We want you to sound good on your instrument. We want you to write excellent on your machine. We don't want sloppy notes. We want perfect notes. And so what I mean by that is, like, for example, if you stroke an S and the T accidentally comes down with it, that's wrong. We just want an S there. We don't want a sloppy little shadow of a T, okay? And I will cover that more in depth as the lessons go on. And just remember this, you all, very important. If you can't write it slow, you can't write it fast. So slow down. If you're going too fast, just slow down. And just remember, we want it accurate. Very, very important. Okay? And that is not to say that you won't strive even in the beginning to write faster than you realistically can. You can always stretch beyond your limits in short spurts. However, the majority of initial practicing should be at just beyond comfortable speeds while striving for 100% accuracy. So you're going to have my labs and you're going to have lectures. You can listen to them as many times as you need to. Let's say it's too fast for you. Go on your weekends and listen to everything over and over. That's why we put everything in Blackboard. You have it there for many times throughout the whole semester. That way you can perfect it. So if it's too fast and you're not keeping up with it, then keep going over it and over it, just like an athlete would train for a marathon until you reach your goal. So you can listen to these taped recordings as many times as you need to. I leave it open in Blackboard throughout the semester, and that way if you need to access it, you will, okay? Practice hints, bottom of page 7. Concentration is vital to mastering machine shorthand. When you practice, whether at home or at school, devote your entire attention to the machine. Do not get into the habit of watching the keys, your hands, or the paper tape. Also, don't stare at the speaker. Unexpected eye contact can break the concentration for both of you. Instead, find a spot on the wall and focus on it, or look at an object in the room, a chair leg, the corner of a desk, the floor while writing. So real important, you all, that when you're practicing, make sure you read the book to yourself, that you understand why you're going to write concepts a certain way. Listen to my lecture, and then do your homework quietly, you all. Make sure you don't have any distractions. Make sure you have your television off, that you're just focusing on your homework assignment. Very, very important. Also, find a focal point. Remember, you'll have your charts there, but they're going to have to go away after a while. You're not going to be able to depend on them. So make sure you don't depend on them, that you just memorize the keyboard by memorization. And the keyboards, believe me, I'm going to go so fast that you won't be able to keep up with it. So very important that you memorize that keyboard before starting class. Even the first week of class, it's fine. And always find a focal point. So when I talk about finding a focal point, not during your homework, but when I start to dictate. So I will say, okay, this is going to be for practice. So you're going to have your machine. And that's when I say find a focal point. I'm going to be dictating, and you're going to be writing on your machine. Look at the floor, look at the wall. Just focus on what I'm saying and then write it on your machine. You want to write perfect, okay? Very perfect. You want to make sure if I'm saying the letter S, that you have a clear S. If I'm saying the letter T, you have a clear T. You want to strive for perfection. That's what's going to get you out of school at a good, fast rate, is perfection of your notes, okay? Knowing how to write. So this is so important, your theory. It's everything. It's everything, okay? Also, you know, when you're doing your homework assignments, of course, you have the book, you have your homework assignment, and then you're going to complete them on your Steno machine, and then you're going to send it to us using your software that we downloaded for you. So then you send it to us, and that's not audio. That's just visually looking at it, completing it on your machine, and sending it to us. Audio is when actually you have a lecture or a lab where I'm dictating, or where the lab assistant's dictating, and you're just listening to it and you're writing it on your machine. Very, very important. And that's very important because, like, when we're writing down our homework assignment and we're completing it, that's easy because it's not at a speed. So it's very slow. It's just you and the machine. But when I start dictating to you, or the lab assistant does, that's where it gets really fast. And that's where you need to master the skill of listening and being able to write. So I cannot stress how important that is, okay? Very, very important. Also remember to practice from your audio whenever possible. We tell you, I guess maybe you're gonna have about, I think 15 hours of practice a week. That includes your homework assignments and then listening to the labs and lectures. Because for the labs and lectures you have, that's 8 hours alone. So then I'm thinking 7 for your homework. Maybe it's going to be quicker for others. It all depends on your background. You know, are you a fast typist? Did you play a musical instrument? Do you work? Do you have a family? Is this all you're doing? Is this all you're going to devote your time to? So everybody has different background situations that come up. So it all depends on how much time you have to practice. So very, very important that you listen to the audio and practice to that and perfect it and write it as many times as you need to. Remember, that's not turned in. That's for your own practice, and that's what's going to help you pass your tests. Okay? Very, very important. When listening to dictation, do not get into the habit of repeating or mouthing the words of the speaker. This will slow you down. So when I'm saying S, try not to repeat it to yourselves. Just listen to the S and just write it on your machine, okay? Don't practice a word or outline that is giving you trouble by simply stroking it on the machine repeatedly. Instead, practice the word within a group of 3 or 4 words. It is often getting into and out of the word or outline that causes the hesitation or problem. So these are all practice tips, very important. Read them and put them to use. The most important thing to remember about practicing is to take the time to do it. And I think that's a big problem, you all, with a lot of our students is they want to come into court reporting. They want to make, you know, the salaries. They want to become court reporters because it is a great salary, but it's the schooling that's so important. And it's, you got to put a little bit of time and effort into it or it's not going to come. Yes, you got to do your homework, but yes, you got to listen to labs and lectures. You have to. Otherwise, it's just not going to come to you. So if you want to get out of school at a fairly quick rate, you do your homework every day, you do your lectures with your machine, everything's hooked up, you do that for practice, and you do your labs, okay? You complete your labs listening with the machine hooked up. Very, very important. I can't stress it enough, okay? That's what's going to get you out of school quickly. And so going on to page 8, stenotype and reporting terms. So these are just some reporting terms. You have captioner. CAT refers to computer-aided transcription. CIC is a computer integrated courtroom. Conflict is using the same outline for more than one word. So like, let's say you have A and you write it the same way. You got to have a different way of writing it. So no conflicts. We don't want conflicts. We want you to follow your book exactly as it is because your homework will get graded and the lab assistant will check it just like the book is. So you've got to follow your book, okay? Conflict-free is a system of writing whereby every word has a unique outline. CSR is a certified shorthand reporter, and that's what the state of Texas has, is a CSR exam. So anytime you pass your CSR exam, that means you're eligible to work in the state of Texas. Okay, it has to be here in Texas. NCRA is the National Court Reporters Association, and this is a national organization for court reporters and other stenotype of professionals. Okay, it's very important. There's student memberships that are recommended that you join it because they keep us updated on legislation that's being passed as far as court reporting. Seminars that you can attend, very, very important. Notes, the shorthand outlines on your paper tape or in the computer, and it's also called paper notes, okay? So you don't have notes, we have the computer screen, just so you know. We used to have paper notes, but they're doing away with paper, it's becoming obsolete, so now we have the computer screen, okay? But those are notes in there. The right side of the machine is the stenographic outline of your notes, okay? The JCR is the Journal of Court Reporting. That's a magazine that's published by the National Court Reporters Association, and it's good recommended reading. Once you're a member of NCRA, you automatically get the JCR, the Journal of Court Reporting. And it's very, very useful, very good information that you get on court reporters throughout the United States, okay? Job openings, schools that are certified, things such as that. Outline is the letter combinations used to define a single word or phrase. So the outline is the combination used to define a single word or phrase. Okay, so when I say, for example, what is your outline? That's just the letters that are on your screen that you actually typed in. Okay? Real time is instantaneous translation of stenotype notes. The best real-time writers are conflict-free and can create a readable transcript as they write. So if you came to the lab and we set you up with your real-time, with the software that you have to pay $100 for, then that's real-time. It's where your machine is hooked up to your laptop or your computer, and everything is in notes, and then the English portion is on the left side. Most of you will just have your dictionary, so if you're going to have steno, We won't be using the dictionaries yet, okay? So once we have your dictionaries in there, you have it, but you won't be using them yet, then you'll be able to see the steno outline versus the English outline. So real important that you all know that. Reporters, one who makes a verbatim transcript of a proceeding. Most court reporters are stenotypists, and most use CAT in preparing the final transcript. Remember, CAT is computer-aided transcription, okay? So a reporter is also a court reporter. RPR is the Registered Professional Reporter exam. So I myself am a CSR, Texas Court Reporter, and I'm an RPR. That's a national exam that is given, and you test for it through your computer. You can test through it at home. And it's the same requirements as the CSR. It's 3 portions. It's 180 words a minute for 5 minutes, and you have to get 95% accuracy. The second portion of it is 200 word per minute jury charge. You have to pass it 95%. And then the third portion of it is a 225 word per minute Q&A at 95%. And so that's 2 people speaking at 225 words a minute. They grade your English portion of what you type up, and then you have to have it accurate, and you can only pass it if you get 95% of it accurately. There's also a written knowledge test that you need to take. And so both the RPR, the Registered Professional Test, and the CSR have written portions as well, okay? And they're the same requirements. Also, the RPR is a national test, and that's a lot of states in the United States want that test. And so I know New Mexico is one of them. If you're an RPR, if you pass that test, then you can work in New Mexico. Texas, you can't work with an RPR. You need the CSR, the Certified Shorthand Reporter exam. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me on anything surrounding that. Stroke is any single key or key combination simultaneously pressed on the stenotype. So a stroke is it's just a letter that you're pressing, and it's on the machine. Okay, that's a stroke. Taking, the act of writing on the steno machine. So when I say we're going to take this down, taking is just writing it down on your machine. Writing down, stroking the words, okay? Whatever I'm saying. Text entry is a method of real-time translation that includes interactive editing capabilities, and this is used for like medical transcriptionists and other information processing fields. It requires conflict-free writing, and it's also called stenoscription. So that's usually for people that are medical transcribers, okay? I won't go into that much. So moving along, hopefully if you all have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, and I will answer your questions, okay? Remember, you got to listen to my syllabus where I talk about my email, how to contact me, everything's in there. So I really want you all to listen to my recording of the syllabus, and that way everything's clear. Right now I'm just covering the lessons in the book, and very important that you all listen to my syllabus and that you listen to my lectures of when I'm covering homework assignments and lessons in the book, just to help you all for to make your homework assignments easier, okay? And that way you don't get any errors, so that it'll be error-free, and that way you all don't have to complete any redo assignments. So now I'm going into lesson 2, which is the keyboard familiarization, single characters. So I want you to remember, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my machine. I want you all to see this. And so what I'm going to do is the keyboard, okay? So I have my machine hooked up, and it says you will be learning the keyboard by a process called machine immersion, which means that you will learn the entire keyboard in the first few weeks of theory. So very important that you all learn these letters. Hopefully you've memorized them. It says by using machine immersion, you gain full control of the keyboard much more quickly than with pre-computer training methods. This has an added advantage in that you will be able to write a much greater variety of words in the early part of your training. So, page 9, the top row of the keys is the S, T, P, H, F, P, L, T. So that's the top row. So notice I'm stroking that right now. This is the top row. So just think it's on the top of the machine, top row. So it's also called upper bank, upper top row, okay? and these are the letters. So I'm stroking them all at the same time. Okay, very important. It's the upper bank. The lower bank is going to be all of these keys. It's going to be the S, K, W, R, R, B, G, S, all stroked at the same time. So it's the bottom, and then remember, it's only with your, it's not with the vowels. The vowels are with the thumbs. It's just your fingers, okay? So the lower bank is the S, K, W, R, R, B, G, S. Very, very important that you all know the difference. Upper bank, S, T, P, H, F, P, L, T. Lower bank is S, K, W, R, F, S, K, W, R, R, B, G, S. Very important that you know upper bank, lower bank. So when I say upper bank, you're going to stroke those keys. When I say lower bank, it's going to be the S, K, W, R, R, B, G, S. Okay? And it says place the four fingers of your left hand over the left upper bank of the letters S, T, P, H, just above the crack. So remember, the crack is what's going to differentiate where you position your fingers. So the top upper bank is the S, T, P, H, F, P, L, T. Then if you have to go down to the lower bank, you just move your fingers down underneath the cracks. And that's the lower bank. Remember, you're not going to have any fingers on the asterisk key. No fingers on the asterisk key or on the DZ. That's only if you have to hit a DZ. You reach over with your pinky. The vowels are with the thumbs. Okay? Next, place your left thumb diagonally over the A and the O. So you just kind of rest your thumb over the A and the O. It kind of just rests on them. And then place the right thumb diagonally over the E and the U. Okay? So just rest them. And I'm writing it with my thumb. Okay? Left hand for the left side, right hand for the right side of the machine. Very important that you all know your correct positioning of your hands on the machine. Okay? Now you're going to place your hands on your lap and return them to the steno keyboard. Practice the routine of placing your hands in your lap and returning them to the keyboard until you can do so without looking at your hands. This must be automatic, so we want to place it upper bank, lower bank, upper bank, lower bank, upper bank, lower bank, okay? And just practice it. Notice the letters that are coming out. Very, very important that you all see that. So, going on to page 10, the initial side of the keyboard is the left side of the machine. So all this with the AO is the left side of the machine, and that's the initial. Just think it's the beginning part of the machine, so it's the initial side of the keyboard. Okay, very important that you all know it's the initial side, which is the left side of the machine. Okay, so that's just STPH, SKWR, AO, so you're using your thumb as well. Okay, all of your letters should look like my letters. Very, very important. And don't pound, okay? Very important that you just lightly write. But you got to make sure all of the letters are represented, okay? Very important. Okay? And it's a lot, the finger action is similar to that used on a typewriter, but you don't move the entire hand when you're writing, just the fingers. So make sure that you all know that. So the initial side of the keyboard, 2-1, place your right hand in your lap, okay? You're going to put your right hand on your lap, use your left hand because you're only going to write with your left hand. Practice writing the following letters one at a time on the initial side of the keyboard only. Read one line at a time from left to right. So I'm going to write S, okay, T, P, H. I'm writing just like the first line on my book, S, K, W, R, and I'm only writing with the left hand. H, P, T, S, R, W, K, S. Okay, so notice I just wrote the first line. Now I'm going to go to the second. S, T, S, K, P, W, H, R, H, P, T, S, R, W, K, S. Okay, so I'm practicing writing the initial side. It's only the left side, you all. Notice all my letters are over here on this side of the machine, okay? All on the left side. You've got to know that the initial side is the left side of the machine written with your left hand. And you're going to practice writing those initial letters, okay? So make sure that you've memorized them. Very helpful. And then I'm going to the final side of the keyboard. The final side is the right side. So I'm on page 11. So now I'm going to write with my right hand, and these are final side letters. So 2-2 is final side. So I'm going to write with my right hand. and it's going to be final side. So it's going to be FPLT, RBGS, TLPF, RBGSS, and then GB. Okay? So it's on the final side. So make sure you all differentiate. Page 10 is the initial side, the left side with your left hand. The right side, page 11, is the final side of the keyboard. Okay? Very important that you all differentiate between those two. Okay? And so I check my notes. Notice now all my letters are over here on the right side of the machine. Okay? Very, very important. So I'm going to write the second column. Now remember, when you have your homework assignment, you got to follow the homework assignment just like your homework sheet says. You got to follow it to the T. So watch my video. I'm just explaining the lessons, what it means, initial side, final side, which hands you use, okay? I'm just explaining it before you do your homework assignment so that you do it correctly, okay? So now I'm going to the second. I'm just practicing right now. Final side, so F-R, okay, just a minute. So I'm doing the second row, okay? So F-R-P-B, okay? L-G, L-G. This is all final side. I'm looking at the second row in my book on page 11. T-S, okay? R-F, B, P. You're going to go a little slower on the final side. G, L, G, L, S, T, L, P, and then F. Okay? So we're actually, it's harder to perform your right side of the keyboard. I don't know why, even though we're right-handed, but it is more difficult, maybe because we started off learning the left side, but it's more difficult with your right side. So just know that when you're doing 2-2 that you're using your right hand, and it's all going to be on this side of the machine. All the letters come out automatically on the right side, okay? Very, very important. And at the bottom of page 11 it says, note that the last two strokes on the final side of the keyboard are DZ, okay? So they're DZ. On older machines, DS, but I don't think any of you have any older machines. It should be DZ. In striking these keys, do not move the entire hand. Just reach over and strike them with the little finger, okay? So I'm going on, and I'm going to explain 2-3, just so it makes it a little easier for you all. So keyboard practice, this is all final side of the machine. 2-3 is the final side. So you're going to practice writing the exercise for the final side of the machine. This is part of your homework. So you will look at your homework sheets. I'm just explaining what fingers, what hands you're going to use. It's all self-explanatory in the book, okay? So please make sure that you take your time. So final side, so I'm going to hit T, D, S, Z, D, Z, okay? It's the top row. T, Z, DS, DS. And it's hard if you have nails, you all. ES, so I'm incorporating an E, S, S, E, Z, U, D, okay? And remember, U, Z. You can't have the letters written one on top of another. You have to have a space. You got to come back with everything. Notice, okay? So like, let's say I hit U, Z together, it's wrong. It'll come out together, it's wrong. You got to write U, and you got to lift your finger up and go over to the Z, okay? Very, very important. So I want you all to make sure that you understand that. Just take your time, and let's go over some more of these important homework assignment information. The initial side on page 10 is the left side of the machine, okay? So that's the left side written with your left hand. The right side is the final side. That's with your right hand, okay? Initial, final. So all of 2-1 is the initial side. That's all with your left hand. All of 2-2 is on your right side. That's the final side, okay? And all of those letters will fall on the right side of the machine. And then 2-3 is the final side. It'll be with your right hand. So you all read everything to yourselves. Don't skip anything. I want to make sure that everybody does their homework correctly. And I just wanted to explain a little bit of what these lessons entail, some explanation. Hopefully it helped you out. Don't hesitate to ask me if you have any questions. This lesson will be a little short just because I did want to give you some explanation. Tomorrow what you'll have is a little bit of practice. You're going to have some practice now because you've done the homework, and hopefully you can now listen to it. I'll dictate. You'll have a lab dictating. And so just so you know, get it correctly. That's just for practice, okay? Your homework is due every night. You'll have a homework assignment. You'll have your lecture listening to me explain the lessons, so it helps you complete your homework assignment. You'll have a video of the homework assignment and then the lab, okay? So 3 components every night. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I hope that all of this makes sense. Remember to strive for accuracy and get it perfect. Read everything before we start. Read the book, because it explains it sometimes even better than I do. I just kind of enhance it. And let me know if you have any questions, okay? So I'm not going to dictate. I just wanted to explain the lessons because I think that's so important. And welcome to court reporting, you all. It's going to be a great semester. Just do your homework. Keep up with it. Don't get far behind. Listen to your labs and lectures with your machine so you get that practice in. And you all should be okay. Okay? I hope we'll have a great semester, and let me know if you have any questions regarding anything. That's it. Have a great day, you all.